Good morning, YouTube. I have a different connection today, so hopefully this is coming out right. Testing something else. Um, so, as some of you know, the SHSAT is the New York City Specialized High School admission test, and they just released the handbook. Many of you have gotten it at school, and as of yesterday, it's now online. Let me post a link to that. Give me 1 second here. In the meantime, my name is Greg. I'm from GregsTutoringNYC at gmail.com. So if you go to schools.nyc.gov, this is the actual link to it all. If you click on that, it'll bring you to the page. Maybe 3/4 way down the page, there's a shaded little box that mentions the Specialized High School Handbook link. You click on the right-hand side, it says something like available in, and it puts down a bunch of languages. You can get in a bunch of different languages. Many of you are going to get in English. There's other forms of it as well. You pick that up, you download it, and it has info about the test, and it has 2 sample tests, including for 9th grade as well. So let me just run through stuff. I'm doing this in mid-June 2019. The 2018-19 registration is over with, and kids going to school in the fall of 2019, those kids already know who they are except for Discovery kids. So the majority of kids going into the specialized high school in fall of 2019 has been decided. So this is the handbook to go into fall of 2020. Okay. And you're going to be taking the test in October. So let me run for you through a few things. And by the way, if you just moved to New York City, there's another shot still to take the SHSAT, which is what the Specialized High School Test is called, in August of this year for fall. So you're taking it August for going into September. That's the only extenuating circumstances that if you don't currently live in New York City and you will be, and you think you have a shot at getting a specialized high school, then they're only talking about a handful of kids they're probably going to let in here. Okay. So again, so what you need to go to myschools.nyc. Let me throw that in here too. Some of you already have accounts there. You're probably registered for middle school that way or something. myschools.nyc. That's different than the link I just gave you. The link I just gave you was schools.nyc.gov. This is myschools.nyc, which lets you do a bunch of things, including registering for kindergarten, for pre-K, for elementary school, for middle school, and in this case for high school. In this case, very specialized, the specialized high school. Okay, so you're going to be doing both of them there in the fall. If you have, say, a 7th grader right now who'll be in the fall 8th grade. Okay, so the other thing is that so if you don't have a My Schools account, you should contact a guidance counselor or go to a welcome center. Okay, and be able to do it, because what you eventually need to do is end up getting a ticket to go to take the specialized test. So before I continue, there's one specialized school, which is LaGuardia, which does not require the SHSAT because it's a performing arts school where you take dance or music or do artistic things. In those cases, you need to do an audition. Those you still also need to go to My Schools at NYC to register on. Those auditions are from the end of October through December, and it's based on where you live and your last name and a whole bunch of other stuff like that. So it's not alphabetically and things like that. So there's things you need to figure out for that. So I'm really mainly focused on the SHSAT here, taking the SHSAT. It's a tough test. You need to prepare for it. So definitely suggest getting the handbook. I don't know literally when registration opens. I believe it's technically open now, although the when you go into My Schools at NYC, it may actually not let you do it yet. Okay, so sometimes that starts maybe around the 2nd week of school. That's been the traditional kind of thing. Now that it's online, last year was the first year it went online. There was some bumps in that, so you just have to go and roll with some of this stuff. In any event, now is a good time. When kids are in college, guidance counselors have certain things to do. It's a good time to get your My Schools that NYC account rolling, so that by September that part of it's over with. I do believe that registration I don't, again, like I just said, I'm not sure when it opens, but registration, I believe the current deadline for its closing is October 11th. Okay, so keep that in mind. So mid-October. That said, the DOE, the Department of Education, they keep changing dates. They've done this traditionally through all registrations, even before it was online. So take this with a grain of salt, not from me, but from them. Which is that if it's October 11th, they're probably going to end up giving another week, but don't depend on that. Next year, find out, know for sure. And they're also claiming that the ticket is going to be available around October 17th. Okay, so again, that varies. So the actual test dates is at the end of October. So there's a bunch of wiggle room there. So let me mention what the current test dates are. It's going to be Saturday and Sunday, October 26th and 27th. That's mainly for 8th graders. There's also SHSAT that you can take in 9th grade to get into 10th grade. That's going to be November 2nd. Okay, Saturday, November 2nd. Also for kids who have IEPs and so on. Is also Sunday, November 17th. So there's a couple of weekends coming from October 26th all the way to November 17th. That's a good span. There's also some middle schools. I believe the count is 55. 55 middle schools going to be taking the SHSAT in their actual middle school on Wednesday, October 30th. Okay. Actually, so let me post some of this here. I'll post the dates on here. All right, I think that's correct. Also in some schools. On Wednesday, what was the date I just gave you guys? October 30th. Okay. So that's it. I just wanted to give you kind of a poke that this is real. It's happening. It's a very exciting time. Definitely prepare. It's not an easy test. It's different than any other kind of test that your child has ever taken before. The closest that can come to it is the New York State tests, but it's very different. Of course, you need test taking skills and other things like that. So I would suggest getting a tutor. I'm a tutor, so I'm biased in mentioning this, but it's a good idea. I often see people who afterwards, oh, I didn't know this was the case. I didn't know that's how it was scored. I didn't know we needed to know certain things. So it's worth getting somebody, even if it's part time. I tutor for many things. In fact, I specialize in specialized testing. I tutor for the ISEE, the SSAT, the PSAT, the SAT, the Hunter College High School test. There's other Baccalaureate school, Beacon, Bard. There's lots of schools I tutor for, including, and the SHSAT doesn't require writing, but other tests require writing. That's a skill in itself that kids need to know. Again, I'm GregsTutoringNYC at gmail.com. So my main thing is these are 8 specialized high schools that require this test, plus LaGuardia, so there's 9 of them. There's many other schools. We keep hearing about how the New York City school system is horrible. There's so many bad schools. That is true. There's certain parts of it that are not perfect and do have problems, but there's actually a couple dozen minimum good schools in New York City. Some of them require other screening for your child to go through, and sometimes that screen is you have to be like a Manhattan to go to a Manhattan school. That said, there's 50 or 60 good schools I would suggest that your child will get an excellent education and beyond just these 8 schools. So give that consideration. It's important to enjoy the process and that your child doesn't get stressed out, and that you're not upset and that they're not upset and that everybody's anxious. This should be a fun time in your life's journey. And the test is not the end of the world. It's not the beginning of the world. It's not the end of the world. Take it through a relax. Pace yourself. Start now. Okay, the test is going to be it's mid-June, July, August, September, October. You're talking 4 to 4.5 months. That's a good time. Pace it through the summer. This is not something you want to cram. It's something you want to enjoy. Pace yourself out. Figure out where your strengths and weaknesses are, and work them. Okay. So that's really all I want to say, and hopefully this gives everybody a jump start into this. All right. You can email me if you have any questions. I love helping people out. All right. Take it easy, people, and peace out.